Yeah, BKop, this is your last chance to get in on the ground floor.
You sound like NFT investors right now. Please buy my Bored Ape! No one cares.
It's not the same thing. You're investing into the belief of...
Yeah, same. You were investing in the belief that that Bored Ape wasn't going to be so bored anymore. Well, newsflash, NFT collectors, he's still bored!
Very bored, indeed.
But I bought it for $3 million. Well, what's it worth now? $56,000. Oof.
Yep. Always read these stories about, oh yeah, I haven't told my wife that I spent all our wedding money on NFTs, and now it's gone. It's like, okay.
This
is a bit of Schadenfreude, you know, that's the old beautiful German words.
So, back in the day, that was always a Wednesday, Flyby did feel like a baller with this Batrider. But I'm wondering if the power is still there. Back in his CDC days.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, it is a bit of a kill lane, like as you pointed out earlier. There's a potential once a couple of levels come online of MS kind of being caught out a little bit too far forward with a few too many stacks. It also probably needs some dust at that point to ensure these kills. If not on MS, then maybe on Treant Protector as well. It's Ponlo. Sees the courier, but it's the courier sees him too, so just doing the creep wave drag, an interesting position there with two range creeps in the middle of the jungle. But it is what it is.
End up moving that creep equilibrium, of course. Always fun.
Just looking at bottom lane here, God King has not been last hitting particularly well. He's kind of keeping up with Son Goku at least.
Yeah, I don't really see this lane being too tough for him. Unless the Dawnbreaker gets, like, overly aggressive. Because that early damage from Starbreaker and Celestial Hammer can feel pretty good. But if XCJ gets a couple levels in the Shadow Word, like, I don't really think they do much to Gwen, God King, Gwen experience.
Yep. It's this classic combo, right? I mean, back when Spectre was last popular, it's picked together with the Warlock often for this exact reason, because she's such a weak laner, and she doesn't have that sustain normally. Warlock fixes that, and later on, if you get a good Fatal Bonds, you also have the combo with the Horn, just doing a lot more work. So we'll see if this is still still powerful enough.
MS also having a lot of troubles in this lane. He's already running away from Flyby. Or Fishman. Gotta get used to saying that again. And just TP's back to the tier 1. Juked. Easy jukes. Easiest juke of his life.
Just walking in TP. Basic movement.
Can't do it again, though. That's a big issue. And if he dies, that is gonna really feel pretty bad for his lane.
Putting the Fear of God into fusion now, like doing a lot of damage back. They do have some region ready to go, but that was the last of it here. Self and Ponlo, another tank on Batrider. So we'll see how that one develops. Let's talk about mid a little bit, because this is 18-4 and 18-2, so as even as it gets, I suppose. No big surprise. Both of these have kind of ways of making you not want to go on the other. You know, with Static Link, you don't really want to push into that. On the flip side, Spirit Siphon, very similar. You don't want to keep chasing White Album.
The only one who really has a ganking support is Fusion. Like, if I was expecting anybody to come mid, it's not the Dawnbreaker, it's not the Treant, but it is Ponlo on the Earth Spirit. Unfortunately, though, there's the Treant Protector. If he gets the Living Armor, then all of a sudden those ganks get harder. And even then, like, unless you're level 6 for White Album, I don't really think he has an easy way of getting the kill on zone.
Yep.
It's just not an easy gankable mid.
Yeah, not by a long shot.
We'll say if White Album comes top after getting 6, they could really shut down MS. Like, it could get potentially scary for this clinkz. Like, the lane's not easy at all for him.
Yeah.
One roll in an exorcism, all of a sudden they've got the sticky napalm. I don't really see how you get out of that if you're MS. Unless they're just not carrying away to see you once you walk into the skeleton wall.
Yeah. There's a dust on Ponlo, so they're getting ready to take that opportunity if they find it.
Now dawnbreaker over mid just to refill the bottle. Whereas Black says, once you get that bottle refill from a support, you should not lose that lane. And right now,
Is that how it works?
he's winning the lane. If you get a free bottle refill like that, he said you shouldn't lose the lane.
All right, makes sense.
I feel like that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. I mean, it's resources from your support, especially if the support didn't even have to die for it, you know? It's normally what happens, you know, support dies on the side lane almost just so they can TP into mid afterwards.
Yeah, that's the real question. Where did Dawnbreaker go?
Oh,
He just walked all the way back.
A little bit too far out. 3 stacks of napalm, he's burning. Another roll to set up, and this should be the first blood. Fishman gets it. Mess a little bit too late to help out, doing a lot of damage back at least.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Good first blood. We'll get Fishman kind of rolling. See what he can accomplish. And White Album hasn't moved off the lane yet, but he does have a regen rune, so we'll see. I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if they even waited until God King got 6 just to make that move. And I say get 6, but bottom lane getting chased, then, well, forget about getting 6. White Album will come to you, and they've also got the Fatal Bonds. They're going to get at least the Dawnbreaker.
Yeah,
but top lane, Fishman goes down to MS, so leaving Fishman alone.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he went down. No overgrowth, no real lockdown to get that kill, but he was kind of sitting low last we checked.
Yeah. Just taking advantage of the chaos here. This is going to be wind under the sails of Snare here when he sees the Warlock kind of being the difference maker. Just enough heals to make sure the Spectre survives this gank together with the stick charges, and then timely rotation there from White Album to not just ensure a kill, ensure the Spectre lives, but also get the tier 1 tower. I mean, granted it's in the offlane on the Dire, it's kind of worthless, but hey, that was a tower, extra money, and successful use of the first exorcism. The game is lagging completely right now, but thankfully we still have feed coming in properly here. We see Fishman covering up top.
He should be, yeah, he's level 6.
Yeah.
Waiting to see if he's, because if a gank's not coming, he may wait on, yeah, and he's taking that 3rd level in Firefly.
Yep.
Not too surprising.
He's the lowest network for all the cores right now, but he's also one of these heroes that can catch up quite quickly here if he gets the time to farm up the jungle. And it's also one hero that doesn't necessarily need all that much, like he's already well on his way towards Boots of Travel. And that extra movement speed, that'll allow you to just go in, lasso somebody, drag them out of position quite far, and then set up for a kill.
MS still looking to go into that Maelstrom that we've seen with clinkz's back in the past, and we've seen what clinkz can do with not even a lot of farm, like just the right amount of farm.
Yeah.
Ponlo making some massive stacks here.
Oh man, yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm also really shocked that they're not warding this up. Like, yeah, they've got that ward on the high ground down by the river, which is near my van, but you also need a ward. Like, you should be protecting these. I think you should be always protect. If you're gonna make stacks like this, you should be protecting them at all costs.
Yeah.
It's always so devastating when you lose a stack that big.
Yeah. I guess Fishman's going over there now and found them up. Spectre, of course, not really able to do that for quite a while. Speaking of Spectre, one experience being gone on again down bottom. Once again, it's just not enough firepower between these two offlaners here.
Level 3 in the Shadow Word, making it a lot more difficult. And this is also why Fishman, by the way, took that, has skipped lasso. Because now he's got all these stacks of sticky napalm. He's going to clear up these stacks real easily. And you'll just watch him get top of the net worth. Look at that. He's caught up. It's just that simple.
Yeah, 3,000 gold a minute ago, and now he's 4.5k. It's just. Oh, it's Musa traveling halfway to a blink right there.
Yeah, that's disgustingly nuts, and that's all because of Ponlo. Like, he made those stacks. It's not like the flashiest way to get gold, but it is pretty awesome. I don't know. I'm still and will always be one of those guys who's very like, I love stacks. Supporting stuff is cool. And yeah, I'm gonna keep thinking that way because when you're able to get your offlaner to recover not only from last in the net worth of cores to top by a mile, it feels pretty good.
It is very satisfying just to stack, just the act of stacking, and then even though it's not a lot of gold, it's the sound of that extra gold coming in when you know, all right, my core is farming it up right now. He's gonna have a better time. It's a pretty good feeling, I think.
Somebody did their job right? Sounds like money to me.
You take what you can get when you play Dota. As White Album just takes some time to heal up with herself. But really using that exorcism on the tower super efficiently at the moment. Kind of walking back in. Of course, if you want to take down these towers, you have to do it in one go because of this living armor. 3 points up into it right now, but it's not that big of a commitment just yet. Maybe there we go. They're waiting on Fishman here. Now everything being chopped in. The last comes through. The dawnbreaker heal though, enough to keep Zone alive for the moment. But now, right into White Album. The exorcism's already gone. It's not healing up enough. The overdrive controls them up. Beautiful triple stun there from dawnbreaker. And things are just going badly for both sides though, as Ponlo, XCJ somehow getting a double kill, all taken out to the magnetize. What the hell was that?
They got a Fatal Bonds on 3. They dropped the Chaotic Offering. They ended up losing Death Prophet and the Batrider off an amazing Starbreaker on 3. But the one who really comes out ahead is God King. He's like, all right, I'll haunt. Thanks for all this like precious gold. Appreciate it. I'm top of the net worth. I've recovered. Good job, Flyby. Thank you.
Won't really be able to kill off this tower though between the two of them, but yeah, I mean
that's the worst part actually. Like saying give up all these bodies and then it's like, well, we saved the tower, and we're gonna heal it up, or at least try to.
Yeah, going in for round 2, and this is where you cannot fight if you're Saiyan. I mean, this was everything being committed, the big combos. Unbreak ult looked like it might have been enough to turn the tide, but the wall sitting in the fire, the wall sitting in the Fatal Bonds was 2k damage done by Warlock and Batrider in that one.
Did Bat take this other stack, or did he leave it? Oh, I guess somebody took it. I think it was White Album who took some of it. That big camp stack.
In the triangle?
Yeah.
I think Batrider took both of those.
Because I know he started the big camp, but then his Firefly ran out, so he left it, and then he may have double back taken some of it and got White Album got the other bit. But this leaves MS like he's doing all right. He's got the Maelstrom. He's going into the Scotty next. Like he's still in a decent spot.
Yep.
Not terrible. If he gets to Scotty, like he might just start throwing some burning barrages out there and ripping up these heroes.
Oh, down bottom, there's Lasso here. Son Goku cannot TP out.
Yeah, that was. I don't know if he thought that TP was ever gonna work, but he was sitting under the Batrider while TPing and was just like, yeah, sure, I'll pull this off.
Magic Missile is only 1.7 seconds stun. The math just doesn't work out in this one. I'm sorry to say, but yeah, I guess it's another Lasso down, not the shortest cooldown these days.
Surely he won't have Lasso.
Yeah.
Although I don't even, was it used top? I don't even think so.
I used it on the Razor to start with, and the dawnbreaker came out, and everything turned crazy. Must have just come off cooldown. So maybe understandable confusion.
Earth Spirit first item Wraith Pack, so he's got the Vlads already. He's got a lot of gold compared to the other supports. And is it just Ags for this Venge? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. They're going to go for Fishman. They've got the Burning Barrage. 3 heroes down bottom with the help of the Solar Guardian. So they'll take it the Batrider.
Can't be too unhappy with that. Could be pulling down bottom tower, but a mid. Ouch. Goodbye, Razor, I guess.
Potentially
Well,
goodbye tier 1 mid.
Yeah, that too. Another X is being committed.
Radiant's bottom tower is
You know,
under
this tower will go down. Saiyan are not in position to defend this one. They'll have to settle for a tier 1 trade, which is not really ideal because there's a tier 1 bottom for the mid. Oh god,
Maybe
this
not
from
even
Batrider.
getting
They
it
didn't
yet.
even getting it, yeah.
Dire's middle tower has
Well, I have to take care of the
Not a great
catapults.
lane break.
LWW lasts on a couple of seconds, but not enough. Catch anyone here, so
Kind of botched.
just a bit, yeah.
I will say, Spectre, he's also going for Ags, which he's going to have it around the same timing as the Venge. So that is not going to make life easy, potentially, for some of these heroes on the side of Saiyan. The big thing that's actually, I think, a factor, Fishman switched and he's going for the BKB. Obviously, that top fight made him feel like he's not as survivable. But I wonder if, like, if you're going to be using that Ags ulti, the Shadow Step, why not also have the blink to blink lasso? Because I feel like you're trying to reveal like the clinkz or something like that to make sure that you can stick on them.
And it's ultimately gonna have to be the play, right? But until then, before clinkz is really at a point where you can kind of solo you from the side of a team fight, the approach might well just be to go in, kind of grab whatever else you can get, like be it the Razor, maybe not the Venge with the Aghanim Scepter now online. But yeah, finish off the Razor, kind of get that numbers advantage going immediately, and then kill them off quickly enough before clinkz really feels comfortable engaging into the fight afterwards. So
Dire's middle tower is
that
under
way you can also get off to a good start. I do really like this Axe on Spectre though. I mean, it changes the hero completely. You can always, all of a sudden, you're not a slave to your ultimate anymore. You can always join in. You can always be that +1. Might need that right now, but might not be enough. White Album swapped in the mid, but he already has his own BKB forced out as there's a jump in with the goal, and okay, dawnbreaker forced out zone with his own BKB. Spectre controlled up in the front. He needs sleep here, a couple of heals, but there's the lasso controlling up a Razor, isolating him further. So zone will fall. Ponlo just keeping everyone else busy in the back with the magnetize. Bodies and the ultimates being exchanged, but ultimately the better trade for Fusion.
Yeah, they ended up getting the Razor. They almost lost the Spectre. Spectre used the Shadow Step and the Haunt in quick succession, and then, like, God King almost died for that. He jumped pretty much in the center of these fights. Very risky. I guess, thankfully, if you're a Fusion fan, you have those shareholders. You didn't die. But that could have been, like, game-altering. I think Spectre dies once or twice, and clinkz stays alive the way he has so far, and it has this Scott E, by the way. Things are going to get very difficult for
guess
him.
what? Another Shadow Step on Son Goku rolls in. He's quite tanky, actually, he is. He's going to die once, going to have another round of spells. And, well, even find some... Yeah, alright, stun over on Death Prophet, getting a few heals in, but okay, that's a little bit too much. 5 against 1. All said and done right there.
radiant structures are
They need to find a way to kill the clinkz. I don't think Venge should be the one you're going after. It just doesn't make much sense to me.
tower has fallen.
Because he's got that second life, he's got that Ags, he's just going to be adding more to the team fight, even if he does die.
Yep.
Whereas MS is pretty much all the damage right now for Team Saiyan.
Yeah, once that Aghanim Scepter comes out, as much as it changes the game for Spectre, it does as well for the Vengeful Spirit of the core position. It's basically happen ages all the time, right? Because you return immediately. Most of the point, you get your cooldowns reset too, so you can immediately cast another round of spells.
Like, the outlook of this game feels more towards Team Saiyan, in my opinion. I think MS has just had way too free of a game. They haven't even killed him once.
That is a concern. So this is probably going to be a timing window coming in up for Saiyan. where Fusion don't quite have the itemization to get on top of him and control the map. But I think eventually they will. Like, God King's gonna go for the Manta style, presumably, just to have something against the Overgrowth and whatnot. But eventually that'll maybe also be an Abyssal Blade, so you can just kind of haunt in on right on top of the clinkz and try and battle him, make sure that he has to spend the time in a teamfight running away rather than actually doing damage.
Problem is that time to get Manta Abyssal is just so far away.
It takes a while, yeah.
And I don't know if you're gonna really get a lot of that time. Like, the output of MS right now is already very high.
On the flip side, though, they haven't really been... I guess they might be grouping up slowly for this top tier 1. But they've yet to really leverage that power to take down objectives and try and restrict the map for Team Fusion. That's going to have to be happening in the next 4 or 5 minutes or so. It's not just Spectre who's farming though. Death Prophet just finished up the Lotus Orb, so... White Album, very utility focused. Lotus, of course, also very useful against a number of things here. Great against the swap, great against the static link, the Overgrowth just to dispel, you know. A lot of good arguments for that item in this game, actually. So having that online, always nice.
Tower is under attack.
Is that just the recipe? Yeah. Okay, it's getting the recipe sent out. He doesn't have the old ultimate orb yet for God King.
Yep. Alright, quick jump in, Lotus Orb to cancel out that swap. The stun's coming through as, yeah, forced out that dawnbreaker ult. Son Goku already with his first life down. Ponlo right in the middle of it as he gets cut down by MS. Could go for more here as White Album finds the extra kill. Son Goku will lose his second life as well.
I will say one of the things I notice is that the Burning Barrage is being spent on killing the Earth Spirit, and at the moment, just killing the Earth Spirit's not good enough.
It's a golem being dropped right on clinkz's face, but they've no way to control him up further, so it just runs away. Wenhao gonna have a bit of a harder time doing the same thing, so should be able to cut him down eventually. A lot of supports being killed off. Death Prophet now taking a lot of damage here. BKB and Lotus Orb. Just enough to make him run away. And he even finds Ace Rune, so there you go. Yeah.
clinkz has the damage, they just don't totally have the control. And it's pretty evident in these last few fights. Like, there will become a crucial breaking point where I think clinkz's damage is just going to outweigh that negative of no control. But it's tough. Like, they're relying on Overgrowth. You said they're building the Manta for that. You've got Magic Missile, but other than that, your lockdown's pretty low. If you can't keep these heroes in the Burning Barrage, well, that damage isn't going to be consistent.
Yeah. Good break. Oof, quick blink away from Fishman. Away blink completed now as well, so you have it. Now the counter smoke, Team Fusion. To try and get on top of somebody here. I mean, they have similar issues with control, but now with the blink lasso, doesn't quite have it. But they do have the slows, dragging him back out of that dawnbreaker ult. No, never mind. The Overgrowth holds him in place, but clinkz still taking too much damage. Ooh. They're all linked together, and they're all just straight up dead. It did not take long at all. Another roll forward here, catches on Son Goku. Oh, they even start the Treant. Didn't even get out. Son Goku taking damage over time. Up a Tiger onto you. He'll lose his first life. Probably not the second, but oh, swap in. Not gonna happen. White Album just on point again. With these Lotus Orbs to cancel that one out.
You know, I'm talking all this positivity about this clinkz, and they were able to shut him out real fast once they got the lasso on him.
It looked like he might have been able to walk away, but then Fishman found a real great flame break there with the extra slows from from the Spectre Shadow Step, because it also applies the Spectral Dagger. No, let's not forget about that.
That's what you desperately need, though, like, is to find clinkz in a position where he can't get out like that. And that's the first time they've been able to kill him.
How much money did they get for that? Oh, they got 322 gold for Son Goku. There you go.
Funny number.
Memes.
Insert now.
Yes, 433. So +1 on each for MS. It's gonna be concerning a bit, right? Because once again, Spectre involved, almost level 18. Has that mental style completed now? Okay, not sure about what he has queued up right now. Good old moonshot.
Okay.
Look, there's better items before.
I agree.
He's just trolling us, you know. Some players do that.
God King, usually not. When he's got something weird queued up, you're like, ha, oh, God King.
Yeah. I mean, that's the ultimate troll, right? Some people are trolling by just putting that on and then buying something else. But then the ultimate troll is to actually buy that weird item.
Sticking his 5 up top.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
They very much have the advantage right now. Aegis in hand.
Dire's
Got the Blink
structures
Lasso.
are
They've
fortified.
got an Exorcism if they want to use it. They've also got the Warlock Shard. Heal up everything. Catapult still goes down though, so that's a bit awkward. They're not even committing the Exorcism right now. They're just slowly bullying it down.
Yeah, they've got the Aegis to work with. I feel like there's a lot of potential to going up onto the high ground. They might want to get back and defend their tier 2 bot, or have one person get back. Most likely, I would have said the Batrider, but Spectre, of course, does have Shadow Step and the Haunt to get back into the fight if need be.
The way it goes. Problem is, if Spectre's the one being gone on, responding to it might be a little bit tougher, but Saiyan, I don't really feel comfortable making any of these kind of moves. They kind of, yeah. Well, split up together themselves, and of course, that's an easy pickings for Fusion.
40-second cooldown on Shadow Step, so not easy for the Dawnbreaker to get away, and then you're right in on the tower.
And just everything coming together, like Spectre getting a lot of farm, getting that Aegis, so even if she is alone,
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
kind of disincentivizes Saiyan to try and make a play for her, as the X isn't finally committed for this high ground push. And the swap comes through. Nice dodge here on some initial damage here as the golem comes through. They got the lasso over on clinkz with the DD, but can't
Great
use the overgrowth though. Setting up. Batrider, he's dead first when experience though. He's clicking away. Zone. Oh, man, he gets the last right click there for White Elbow to finish the job. Now pops a BKB, just right there with the heal. Stats die. Oh, this clinkz with the DD, just a little bit too strong. Triple kill for MS when all is said and done. Oh,
That was
no.
too far. Behind the tier 4 is very much too far.
Just a
Not
little
where you
bit.
want to be.
Way back in for them now. I mean, it was a 1k gold swing or so. Is it the buyback also having to be committed on bench? MS is back on the top of the charts right now.
And he almost dies there. I thought to myself, if you're gonna commit that far, Spectre's got the Aegis. You might have wanted to commit to the clinkz, even though Spectre was low. I think that little extra right click damage would have been enough.
Yep.
But that could have been a little bit of miscommunication, of course.
Yep. It's kind of hard to do that math after the fact. It's even harder to do it right there on the spot. Yeah, I feel like if he didn't have the DD, White Album would have lived there and he would have been able to finish the job himself. So that's was probably enough to throw off any sort of math that Fusion might have made ahead of time. So, gotta be careful a little bit now going forward. Still have that Aegis, but only for another 40 seconds, so can't really substantially use it.
Pretty decent time though, using it to farm and get what they have at the moment. BKB is going to be massive for MS.
Yeah, for sure.
They're going to smoke. Again, they can get a pick off with the way Shadow Step is available to them every 40 seconds. They've also got Haunt. If they find clinkz, they get the lasso before this BKB or even just get zoned.
Yep. Oh, defensive swap coming through though. Zone looking to TP out, and looks like that might be successful here. Son Goku will lose his life and his illusion, presumably.
LWW getting run down by Ponlo on the side.
Damn, dawnbreaker ult coming, also being committed to me to get Ponlo. Was it really worth it? I'm not sure. LWW might still even try. There's a bit of damage coming in. That's Gripstorm not connecting, and you have plenty of stick charges, so never mind, but oof. I feel like in a lot of these games, Ponlo just... I mean, it's not his playstyle, but it does feel like they all hate him, you know? Just overcommitting all the time just to punish him when he's going too far forward.
If they're to do something right now while the Sword Guardian's down, then I feel like you're at a disadvantage. You don't have that heal. It's pretty massive to what they want to accomplish.
That's the trouble here. No swap doesn't do enough here with the extra heals coming through. The golem being dropped. And yeah, White Album is still alive. It's fine. Taking so much damage. White Album gets to live. Zone
chasing into the exorcism?
Oh, they did indeed. And it was a mistake. MS, the only one left standing. But for how much longer? Fishman, he has something to say about that, but the rest of the team can't quite follow. Instead, they focus the rest of the power of this exorcism on this tower.
What was that from Razor?
Such a bold move. It almost worked out. White Album got so freaking low, but not low enough. There's another jump forward just to keep MS away from them.
The Razor went back like he was going to leave and then went back in for the Death Prophet. White Album had backed himself up, but he was still inside the Exorcism and ended up dying on the Razor. Like, it felt very odd. White Album doesn't have the BKB, but he's certainly still tanky.
The lasso overgrowth ultimate plays. Once again, another dawnbreaker ultimate. MS just enough to keep him safe. No! Ponlo snipes him with the stone to the back. Son Goku ends up dropping the magnetize on top. Like, there's no even way to even go back into the fountain. Wenhao barely dies on the doorsteps. And this is very much it, I believe. Like, it just has to be over. As long as Treant is, I don't think he can hold this by himself.
It's a support stream to do so.
He would need a meteor hammer for it, you know? Oh. Don't quite dive the fountain. I appreciate that. Just almost dying to illusions. Push him out. Alright, alright. With the Ghost Scepter, that's a thing. Okay.
Not gonna call it. They're just gonna let the throne die.
I have to mute or something, but no, they're not actually calling it. There we go.
There it is. A little late, but eventually they do call it. Fusion taking game one, and it looked okay. I don't want to say it looked great, but it did look okay. I think there were a couple things that looked sketchy, but you know, at the end of the day, they did what was needed to get the win, and they didn't really struggle much overall. I thought they did fine.
There were a number of pretty good plays from, again, White Album surviving a couple of times, just being just as aggressive as you want to be with that exorcism. Fishman, a couple of good flame breaks into lassos and whatnot. Spectre always just taking advantage, so... But yeah, I know Snare is just itching to sing the praises of Warlock here, aren't you?
My man! My man understands. Dragondrop has had to do this duty before. He understands where I'm going to go with this. And I'm going to say a few positive things about our Warlock here. You know, as much as I would like to praise Ponlo, this is Ponlo Earth Spirit, so we know that he's going to be doing good stuff. He did manage to get the second fastest Wraith Pact on this hero of all time, beating his own record that was at second before this. You know, I would love at this point in time to praise our Spectre player who got the fastest moonshot of all time, but it's got to be about that Warlock. Boys, the team fight break, the fatal bonds. No, I'm kidding. Although there is one bright spot, right? It did seem apparent at several points that it didn't feel like Team Saiyan knew how to play around the Warlock here, BKop, because if I'm honest, as much as I love this hero, it should not be allowed to get several 3 or 4 hero fatal bonds subsequently. One fight, it happens, it is what it is, but that cannot keep happening over and over and over again. And when that happens, you can't keep allowing this Earth Spirit to roll in, get off a big magnetize over and over and over again. You know, on the Razor, for example, we saw the second fastest BKB timing of all time. He understood that, I need to survive this fight at all means, at any time. But the rest of the team not necessarily understanding the assignment. What happened here, fam? Because it did feel like just fight after fight, Team Saiyan weren't necessarily able to acclimate to the environment of this game. What do you think happened in the team there?
I think a lot of their fight is like, that's the nature of their fight, right? Like, it's easy to get 5 4-man fatal bonds because that's just the nature of where this team is fighting, right? Like, magic missiles in exactly the furthest cast range, and like Razor wants to be in your face. clinkz kind of wants to be in your face, but maybe a little bit off to the side. Dawnbreaker goes right into the fight when you're using Solar Guardian, and like LWW bought a blink to blink overgrowth. So if the timings are there, you're going to get hit with a fatal bonds on 4 or 5 heroes every time. And Ponlo is not scared to follow that up. I will say XCJ died 0 times. That's the most impressive part.
Yep.
0 times on a Warlock, a hero against the clinkz. He should have died 12 times. Like, MS didn't take advantage of the fact that Warlock is not that survivable. Like, just kill him. It's really not that hard. But again, that we talked about it. They don't have a lot of lockdown. Yes, you have magic missile. Sure, you have overgrowth, but you needed like one more thing. You needed something else. Like, Ponlo did a lot. He had more damage than the Batrider, more damage than the Warlock. But God King and White Album, they kind of went to town. Like, this game for them seemed like pretty simple. And God King and XCJ, deathless. Like, that's really impressive. And once they found MS once or twice, it felt like his game was much harder, especially the team around him didn't feel like it farmed nearly as well. And it's very evident if you look at the net worth. Like, Razor had 12K. Compare that to White Album at 19. Compare that to even Fishman at 16,000. And the only one farming was MS. And you can see the damage he was doing. He just didn't have a way to make sure that it got onto Fusion.
Yeah. I mean, we saw, I think it was last season, Dragondrop. We were in that game together where MS was almost single-handedly carrying his team on a clinkz, in fact. I think it was like an hour, 20-minute game. I don't know. It was a lot. You know, my memory's a bit hazy on that one. But in this particular situation, yes, they try to set him up for success. But like BKop was mentioning, this lack of lockdown, it became very apparent that every single fight that LWW would die, suddenly they were just like, we actually have to run away because we have no reliable way to keep these heroes in position to dish out the damage. And more than that, because we had this double BKB timing on this Fishman Batrider as well as on the Death Prophet, suddenly it's very easy to just run you down and there's nothing else you can do on the side of Team Saiyan. What could they have done differently? Was itemization really the issue here, or was it necessarily the playstyle that they adopted in this particular game?
Yeah, I think some of it was that Fusion was pretty good about committing as much as they needed to, but not overcommitting all that much. I mean, some of these fights, arguably, I think this might have been the one where they, MS in the back. Those one count examples. But beyond that, Saiyan, they had other issues. Like, they didn't really have the choice on MS to go for the backlines to kill off this Warlock because he had too many problems in front of his face that you had to deal with. So it's this kind of juggling and kind of having to play Fusion's game. So if they find a way to not do that and play the way they want to play the heroes instead, I think that would be ideal. But in order to do that, of course, that gets much easier with that lockdown that we've been harping on for a while, or the lack of it, I suppose. So yeah, just get some proper initiation rather than counter initiation. That allows you to play your game rather than play the enemy's game. It's as simple as that, I think.
It's something that we yesterday heard as well, that, you know, being able to play your game in particular, it helps a lot. BKop, one of the things that we did see here as well from Team Saiyan, the fact that they played this Dawnbreaker in the support position, as we are now looking at our White Album's MVP on this Death Prophet. Phenomenal game on him. Somewhat easy game though, considering the circumstances, and I very much like the early pickup of that Aghanim shot. That fear mechanic on this hero, in tandem with heroes like Warlock and Earth Spirit, super strong. But given that we saw this support Dawnbreaker yet again, fam, me and Neff were arguing about this the other day, about whether or not this hero is actually good in the support role, and I don't think it is. I think it's acceptable, but not necessarily nearly as strong as it should be. Will Team Saiyan now shy away from grabbing that hero as a support? Usually they have played it in the off lane. I think they were trying to experiment in this particular series, or in this game 1 rather. Game 2, are we looking back to seeing Son Goku instead on the Dawnbreaker rather than having it as support?
If it's available, maybe. I think it's not terrible. I like it personally more in the offlane. I don't think it's terrible as